everyone, it's Melinda. I started my process today by drawing out of my box of slips of paper with 3 items on them. Today I drew out pad slot 3, embellishment box 259, and sequins. I store my paper pads in recollection cubes that are behind me, and it holds between 6 and 8, and my embellishment boxes are in front of me in iris cases listed 1 through 15. My kind of rule I have for myself is that I have to use 1 of each item listed, but I can use anything else. I'm starting with a white piece of cardstock, and I decided to go on this scrap lift. I'm turning it upside down because my photo, my daughter is looking down. This is a photo that I was trying to use on a different layout a while ago, so it's already got a black paper on the back as a border, and I'm going to leave it on there. Now I'm just flipping through here trying to find a red. I'm thinking I'm going to go with a red and gray color scheme. So I just go through each of them. That one's not going to work for me. I end up settling on 2 pages out of the Love Notes paper pad from Crepe Paper. It's from 2013, so it's kind of old. And I toy with the idea that it would be good for to back the whole layout in it. I love a diagonal stripe, so I tend to like to use them that way, but not for this layout. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to gut it so that I can use the outside on another layout another time. I went ahead and cut this at 11.5 all the way around, so I have a nice size square to work with. Now I'm just going to rip this with my ruler to about the size I think I need. I'm going to pull out some inks, and I'm using grays. My Tattered Angels, Stormy Skies, and the color Coal, and Heidi Swapp Color Shine Tinsel. Now I first used the Heidi Swapp, and it ends up being a little bit too light. I'm going to use the packing technique with a little bit of water on it to smush it around. Got a little bit extra water there. I take off the excess with paper towel, and it's just a little bit lighter than what I want. So I clean it up a little bit. I'm going to use the Stormy Skies. Again with the water, smooshing it around. And I kind of like that. But I'm realizing that I want it the other direction now. So I flip it over, and that will work. I'm going to do it more, and I'm not sure if I do the one behind the photo just yet or not. Oh, I'm going to stamp next. That is a Tattered Newspaper by Blue Fern stamp. I don't even use a block. I just get it wet and I kind of press it down here or there. I just want the hint. Just adds another layer. Now the ones that end up being behind the photo, in the end, you hardly ever don't see them. Just more of the Stormy Skies behind the photo. Use the whole roll this time to rub it off. I'm going to try to figure out how what size I need to have this gray one. Now I'm not liking this gray with this, but I'm going to leave it for a little bit, trying to convince myself. I'm going to add some black to it. I don't love the stripes with the diagonal stripe red, but I'm going to leave it and see if I can fall in love with it. I fuss with it a little bit. This is black polka dotted tissue paper. I just get it from usually the dollar store. It's probably not acid-free or archival safe, so just testing it. Going to wrinkle it up behind the photo. I glue one side down, flip it over, and glue the other side. So there's lots of extra in the center, and then I just kind of wrinkle it and fold it up so it looks messy. I'm going to do a lot of fussing with trimming this down. I only want a little bit to show. And I noticed right there that I cut it, when I ripped it, it got way too short to the photo. I can fix that pretty easily. Still trying to figure out how I can get that two stripes to work. More trimming. I'm just going to add that little piece right there to the spot that's too short. And no one will see, no one will even notice it actually. And all the little layers of it. Now once I did that, my red is too small, so we're going to rip another piece. And this is kind of, I think, where I'm realizing that this gray, I just can't fall in love with the gray. It's too light. I'm still trying to make the black and white stripe work. Now I like this gray better. It's darker, more of a solider gray. I just pulled it out of my scrap drawer. Yep, and this is where I decide that the black stripe just doesn't work. I'm going to stick with just the gray and the red. I'm going to staple them together. Before I forget, I'm going to throw on the sprinkles. Sequins. I call them sprinkles. I'm going to do red and gray. I just need to spread the red around just a little bit. Now, as far as to use the one thing on the embellishment box, I really like this acetate heart, and I try to make it work. And maybe in the future layout, that's going to work. But the other little cut file pieces are from a file called Addicted to Love by the Cut Shop. I used them on a different layout, the full sheet of them, when I cut them out, and these are the extra. I'm going to paint the rings in black coal. And the hearts I'm going to end up just painting very messily with Heidi Swap Cherry and Tim Holtz Distress Ink Barn Door. Now it's just easily, just a paintbrush, just slopping paint, little water. Now I noticed that this soaks in and looks a little more purpler than I want. I think that's a new word, purpler. That's when I get out the Distress Stain. Just spritz it with water, use my brush to spread it on. Now these are just very roughly painted. I'm still not loving the color of that one, but I'm going to let it go. In the end, with all the other stuff, I hardly notice the difference. Now that acetate heart, I think it would have looked nice there. But I just can't get myself to use it today. I will definitely save that in the back of my mind to use in another layout. I really like using part of it underneath that gray stain. Now I tried this. That is a Too Crafty, I think that's what it's called, chipboard. It was just too much today, too big. I'm going to move those around. This is in upholstery thread. I always want to call it embroidery floss. I'm going to loop it around and try to create that little messy nest to resemble the sewn rings. I'm not sure where I went there. Oh, I'm going to back the photo with Fun Foam. Got it from Walmart, a pack for like $5 or $6. Self-adhesive. That just pops the photo up just enough to give it some dimension. Seeing which orientation one I want to put where. And this is where I finally just say, nope, we're not going to use the acetate. This is a stamp called Stains and Seams by Carabelle Studios. I will link these below. I'm going to stamp this in 3 different spots, trying to turn the orientation just a little bit. I'm stamping off the side, so I'm putting a scrap piece of paper so I don't get my mat all inky. I'm going to use the second one that has more stitching on it. It looks like scribbly stitches. Right over top of the circle stamp. Just adds another layer. Trying to see whether I want the thread back there. I'll test it out. Yeah, I still kind of like the thread there, but it needs to be more neater and a little more short. I'll wind it up. Embroidery floss is really good for that. It stays in its shape better than regular thread. I'm going to use some double-sided score tape to hold it in place. I'm going to commit to put my photo down. I'm going to put the hearts down now. I'm hanging those ones, those 2 are off the page, and I'll trim them later. Just using some quick dry glue to hold them on there. I'm going to drop coal. That's the color, coal, on. I like some big drops, so I really overemphasize the drop, dip it in, and really push down hard when I'm trying to drop it on to make big blobs. Now I like to roll these off because I do not like waiting for them to dry. And sometimes it makes them look a little squished, but in the end I think it all works out good. I'm going to try to sprinkle the sequins around so it looks like it just kind of fell there. Though I swear they like to stick to my finger, so it looks like I'm trying to toss them. Making things look random is never that easy. Now at this point I'm realizing that I want more of the stormy skies to stick out around the photo. So I'm just going to do some packing technique very carefully. I'm going to lift the side of the photo up and just kind of mush it under. That way, just see just a little bit more off from underneath of the photo. This is a sticker, and I'm not sure what sticker pad this came off of. It says, "Psst, I love you." And I'm committed to sticking it down there. And then there's the 2 labels that I was trying to use. I ended up using the big one. And I was thinking about titles and finally came up with hashtag Senior 2017. These are just little square tile stickers. The red one is I think it's Snap, actually. And when I'm doing with these tile stickers, I normally start from the back, and I always forget on the first word that I want to start from the back of the letter so I can stack them properly. And they kind of bouncing up and down so that they're not just straight across, and they overlap. I'm going to hook these 2 together. I'm going to shop it around a little bit to see where I like it. just tuck it in right by that cluster. It's not a very big title. And now I decided to tuck that sticker up underneath, kind of like a little secret. There's this sticker on with those letters that says status update. I thought that was a good for journaling starter. Now, I should have put that up higher because I end up having to draw extra line when I do my journaling. My journaling says, this year will fly by, just have fun and enjoy yourself. And I end up, the last line has to be longer. So if I put it up a little bit, it would have contained itself a little bit more. But it's done. Now I'm going to use that larger label and stick it on this cluster on the side and stamp the date. This is a Chanel roller date stamp. I like it because it's the European way with the month in the middle. So if I just want to do a month and a year, it looks so much better than the other stamps that have a gap in it, in my opinion. Now to stick the sequins down, I'm going to use these small Zots. I usually use the wet adhesive, but I just didn't want to wait for it to dry. I'm kind of running out of these, so I need to figure out what size they are so I can buy more. It works perfect for this. Now that one I wanted to move, and I had to rip in the paper, so I put it back. But in the end, I'm going to move it because I don't like it there and just deal with having a little piece of rip. You really can't tell with the kind of mixed media spot that it's in. So it's all good. Yep, I just need another Zot for that. And with that, the layout's done. I flip it over and I write the number of the layout. This is number 50 of 2017 and the date and a little message. Thank you all for watching. Stay tuned for still shots. And please, if you like this, subscribe and let me know below.